This is Blind Metal Gamer, and you're watching my accessibility review for Street Fighter 6 for PlayStation 5. Hello everyone, Blind Metal Gamer here with you once again, and it's time for another accessibility review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Street Fighter 6, available on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. You're probably wondering, Blind Metal Gamer, how is the accessibility in Street Fighter 6? Well, today we're going to find out. I'm going to start this video by letting you know right now, for those of you who are blind or low vision that need screen reader support, there is none. There are some menus that will speak to you, like in the battleground, it'll say like online, arcade, special match, things like that. But in terms of overall screen reader support, you're not going to get it. So in the menu that's being shown right now, which is the ranked match menu, there is no screen reader support whatsoever. I intentionally put this in because I wanted to show the lack of screen reader support in the game. Now, in terms of font size, the font size is, I would say, readable, but I still believe that could have been improved. I feel that the font size in the game needed to be customizable to your liking. That way it can be tailored to those who need it bigger. Also, the color. The color of the highlighter is a white color, and as you can hear there, there's no screen reader support, so you're not getting to know what's on those menus if you need a screen reader and if you need that feature. Now, as for the font, they should also have included the option to customize the color of the font. Because I feel that would have really helped. And as for full screen reader support, that's something they should have strongly considered at launch, and I'm hoping that that's something that they will put into the major, like, arcade edition or champion edition or whatever the ultimate edition of this game turns out being. I hope that they go back in and patch in a lot of these features, because that needs to be done. Now, as for, again, here on the character selection screen for online play, you're not going to see, again, no screen reader support, so that's not going to really help those who are blind or low vision that want to go online. Now, when it comes to the versus select screen for special match, versus matches, arcade mode, and things like that in practice, it will do like what Mortal Kombat will do. You'll highlight over a character, you'll hit X on PlayStation or A on Xbox. It'll say, for example, Ken or Luke or Mana or Zangief or Blanca. But then the screen reader support sadly comes to an end. This is something that, is really, really frustrating, not only for me, but for those who are unable to see it. I think they should have included full screen reader support. Now, moving on. Controls. Now, you're probably wondering, how are the controls, Blind Metal Gamer? How does the game stack up in terms of controls when gaming? Now, here's where Street Fighter 6 really shines. They have 3 different control schemes. Classic, which is your classic strong, medium, and weak punches and kicks. And then you have Modern. Now, Modern is a bit of its own beast. Now, you're probably wondering, Blind Metal Gamer, what's so epic about the modern controls of this game? Well, you have a button for punches, a button for kicks. So your square is for punches, your X is for kicks. Your triangle is your special button. So if you hit, let's say with Ryu, or no, I'll use Ken. Let's say with Ken, you hit triangle, he'll throw a Hadouken. If you hold forward and push triangle, he'll do a Shoryuken. If you hold back and hit triangle, he will do his kicks. Now, for some of the moves, you have to do the inputs. So down back, quarter circle, back circle is Ken's hurricane kick. Now, holding the R2 button or right trigger button and doing the special move buttons will do the EX versions of these, or the strong versions of these special moves. Now, you're probably wondering about combos. Again, you just go up to the opponent, hit square or X 4 times, you'll do your basic combo. Now, if you hold the R2 button or the right trigger button, and you do the same thing, they will include overdrive moves, which can lead into super arts, which is awesome. Also, there's a throw button, which is the L2 button or left trigger button for modern controls. Then there's a button for the overdrive parry and the overdrive counter. The overdrive counter is mapped to the left bumper or L1 button. The overdrive parry is mapped to the the right bumper or the R1 or the R1 button. Now, as for sorry about that, I didn't mean to do that in the video. Okay, as for super arts, you have to hit triangle and circle at the same time on PlayStation, or Y and B at the same time on Xbox. Now, if you do that by itself, you get a level 1 super. If you do back and that same button combo, you get a level 2. And then if you hit down and that button combo, you get your level 3. Now, I'm sure this can be tied into button combos, and etc. And you're going to see this right now on screen. You're fixing to see some gameplay here of what I'm referring to as far as the supers and all of that. As for those that suffer from epilepsy or seizure disorders, I will warn you now, when you fire up the game, it does have a health warning in big, bold letters. Now, this is where, again, a screen reader would have been useful to read that out loud to you and describe it. Now, as you're seeing in the gameplay, well, you're going to see, right now you're seeing things getting pumped up as far as that. So the versus screen is awesome. Again, the screen reader did its job there, explaining who the characters are. When you select them, now that's the one thing about that I wish they would change. Maybe have that announcer voice, but maybe have the screen reader read who it is first, and read the colors and all that to the player too. So as you can see now in the gameplay, I'm using the modern control scheme for my review, which I love because not only is it great for those that cannot do the forward circle inputs or the charge inputs, it's also great for if you want your controller to last a while, because doing those charge inputs and the quarter circle inputs can really do a number on your D-pad. So keep that in mind also. Also, if you want something a little bit simpler, there are dynamic controls. I've not fooled with the dynamic controls. I'm not going to fool with them, and here's why. Dynamic controls are not usable online. Capcom, shame on you. You get the ability to use the modern controls online. Players can use classic controls. But for dynamic controls, they're not usable online because it's too easy. It just limits your inputs to the 4 face buttons. That's it. I'm sorry, but to me, that's a negative, aside from the lack of screen reader support when it comes to accessibility, and here's why. Capcom, if you wanted your game to be fully accessible, not only should have you included screen reader support for the whole game, all the menus, but you should have also allowed people to use dynamic controls online, and here's why. If someone, again, has trouble and with the modern controls, like if they have let's say they can only play with one hand, and they've got to use those dynamic controls, allowing the user to use dynamic controls online would assist them greatly, because it would allow the control schemes to be usable all the way across the board. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking, oh, it's going to make the game too easy or whatever. But I'm looking at this from an accessibility perspective. I'm looking at this from how can it be made more accessible to players with disabilities. And the lack of the support for dynamic controls online, to me, Capcom is just it's unacceptable. You could have done that. There's no reason why you couldn't have had that and the screen reader support in the game. Now, I will say you do get a lot of bonus points for the modern controls, for those controller options. However, it's kind of balanced out by the lack of screen reader support and the lack of dynamic control usage online. Now, granted, I do use the modern control scheme. Yes, I do. I like it better than the classic control scheme, actually. It's a lot easier. I feel that in order to make the game better, now this is where I kind of differ as far as other accessibility reviews. I'm going to now explain how you can make the game better. I've described, okay, what accessibility features are missing, what the game has. I did my whole point system, minus points for the lack of screen reader and lack of dynamic controls online, plus for the modern controls and innovations in that department. Now, Capcom, if you're watching, or if someone from Capcom is watching, or if any other developers are watching, or if anybody that can talk to Capcom about this is watching or listening, here's how to make it better and remedy it. Add in full screen reader support. Go back in and if you have to, patch it in for the re-release. Or give it to us as a free update, for those who have the game. Also, dynamic controls. Make it where people can use these dynamic controls online. That way, dynamic controls are usable across the board. And, as it stands right now, this game, it's accessible. However, if you have a visual impairment and need a screen reader, you're going to be out of luck. You're going to have someone with sight to help you. That's just how it's going to have to be. Now, if they would have included screen reader support, that wouldn't be the case. However, the way to remedy that is, okay, go back in, add your screen reader support, patch it in, and then, give us that. That way your game is more accessible. I'm not saying the gameplay is bad. I'm not saying the gameplay is, unjust. I just feel like, for example, in World Tour mode, that really needs a screen reader and the text scaling and all that, because I was, playing it the other night, streaming it on my Twitch, and, good God, I had to get close to my monitor and literally, focus really hard to see it. I mean, there's no need for that, Capcom. You can make this accessible. It can be done. So, with that being said, I just want to let everybody know, if you do choose to buy Street Fighter 6 for PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PC, it does have a good bunch of features such as crossplay with every platform. It has modern controls. It has the classic controls. It has a very diverse roster of fighters, a very, very, very good portion-sized platter of single-player content. So it's good on those ends. Where it falters and could be made better is accessibility. I feel like, again, the screen reader support needs to be in there. The text scaling size options needs to be in there. Text colors and maybe background colors need to be in there too. That's a good thing. Or that's something that needs to be added because, there are people that might need it. And also, another yawn. Also, another thing that I feel that could be done to kind of make things better is, maybe for the sequel, or like I said, if you're going to re-release it as like an arcade edition or special edition, work on these features now in the interim while you're working on, I know you're going to probably work on DLC, I get that, but work on these features while you're working on DLC to make it better. Then when you give it the re-release treatment, give us these accessibility features as a free update. Don't make people have to pay to get the arcade edition or whatever the special upgrade edition is for these features. Make these features as part of the free update for the final version or whatever it is. That way it'll have the features right out of the gate once you fire it up and once you boot up the game. So, okay, so with that being said, I've been Blind Metal Gamer. This has been my accessibility review of Street Fighter 6 for PS5. Again, the game is available on all platforms: PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC for the MSRP price of $59.99 for the regular version. So, with that being said, this has been my review of Street Fighter 6 in terms of accessibility. I'd like to hear from you all in the comment section below, so as always, be sure to subscribe, like or dislike, leave a comment down below, and share with everyone you know. Until next time, so long everyone, and peace out.
I'm ready.
I'll take on all of you! Round one. Fight! Look at this body of iron! Round two. Fight!
Wings.
Zongia wins! Online, arcade, on special, extreme battle.
Survivalist, heroic as a tiger is. Earn my all right, let's get it. With this journey started, you
Make way for the ninja.
call me crazy, but you was not a psychiatrist.
I'm gaming, you
Lifetime of
are.
strife and struggling. Be the best, that's my covenant. And I will live forever, that's my living. Let's dance. When it's all said and done, they gon' call me a legend. I love to break bread, but I'd rather break records.
Nowhere to run.
Hope you're not a sore loser.
Round one. Fight!
Come on now. Give me a little bit more.
Round two. Fight!
Don't fall down yet. Loser.
Judy wins! Online, great match. a new challenger.
This isn't about just winning the match. Pride and bragging rights are at stake here. Both fighters will need to bring their A game to the table.
Round one. Fight.
Here we go. What are these fighters going to do? Charges in with authority. Starts off throwing with fireballs. Fireballs are risky, but if the opponent doesn't jump, they're one of the best ground game tools. Goes for the super art? Taking stock. Player 2 chases them down. So they break forward to pressure the opponent. Player 1 in trouble with no drive. All right, what's coming up next? In there! Player 1 picks up the always important first round. They'll want to keep the ball rolling.
Round two. Fight.
Immediate jumping. Are we going to see some fireworks here? Player 1 can build off this lead. There's still a lot of fighting to be had. It's anyone's match. Ooh, there's a side switch. This could be big. You've got to be mindful of reach and jump-ins at this range. Experiencing burnout. A quick breather. Player 1 will look to apply pressure here. A super art? Shreds them with the Sonic Hurricane. Nice damage. They're going for the super art? Has the Vulcan Blast sealed the deal? Noticeable life lead is a comeback flatline zone. Player 1 brings it home. Let's see if they can build themselves a streak.
Round one.
Right back into the rematch. We ain't even close to done. Checks them with the projectile. Can't tech the throw? Was well in range to score the throw. Still slugging it out here. Player 1 pushes the big time that just right to get the perfect pair. Oh! Absorbs the attack and fires back. Just goes for it to stop the opponent's flow. Throws him. What's next? All right, what's coming up next? Life lead is opening up, but that can still be overcome with smart drive use. Life lead opens up. Awesome! KO! Player 1 picks up the first round. That'll give them a psychological advantage.
Round two. Fight.
Immediate jumping. Off for the level 1 Vulcan Blast. Now charges forward. Jumps up. Goes for the fireball, which is very strong at this range. Hits him with a stop and pop. Backs away. Going on the offensive. Gets out of there with a backdash. Not much life difference. A super art. Looking for a chance. Looks like they both want to skate. Rushes that off and keeps going. Player 2 is in a pretty good situation. Were they baiting them into that? Jump! Crowns them from above. Weaves into impact to finish. Player 1 brings it home. Let's see if they can build themselves a streak.
Here comes a new challenger.
Our fighters are pumping themselves up and are raring to go. Who's going to come out on top in this fight?
Fight.
The fight's now underway. This is Vicious with the play-by-play. Overdrive. Lays on the pressure with the projectile. Are they trying to beat out the jump? They gotta escape from the corner before the pressure builds up. Player 1 has them legit shook in the corner. Hits with the overhead. Throws a fireball here, maybe as a simple zoning strike. Heading into the end game now, it's getting tense. Big counter. Snipes them out the air. Player 1 on the board first with the win. They'll want to keep the pressure on.
Round two. Fight.
Immediate jump puts the super armor to good use. Goes low. Overhead. Oh, they're in the corner now. Ends the meter. Hoping for a good return. dealing a nice chunk of damage. What a payoff. Sees him coming and shrugs it off with a super arm. Good instincts to spend resources while they have them to tack on more damage. They must have a game plan here with a critical art on deck, but executing that plan is the key. This is gonna be bad news in there. That was a clinic on how a solid neutral game wins matches. Right back into the rematch. We ain't even close to done yet. The jump in catches them. You can open up chances to do big damage by baiting something out, getting that opening, and then jumping in. So they break forward to pressure the opponent. All right, what's coming up next? Down to the wire. Beautiful setup with that attack. Takes a big gamble and rips out a raw super. Heading into the ends with a projectile. Player one on the board first with the win. They'll want to keep the pressure on.
Round 2. Fight.
Goes for the jump in to start. Pops him with a Shoryu. G-right kick for a mix-up. Player one chases them down. They gotta be careful not to overextend or their opponent might go for a side switch. Saw that coming. Are they trying to bait a throw? They may have something up their sleeve. A parry? Uses the target combo as a filler. Bends the meter, hoping for a good return. Our fighters are at a stance. The projectile connects, not giving the opponent any chances. That's what happens when you capitalize on all of your chances.
Here comes a new challenger.
This isn't about just winning the match. Pride and bragging rights are at stake here. Both fighters will need to bring their A game to the table.
Round 1. Fight.
All right, first round. What's going to happen? Throws him down. They gotta escape from the corner before the pressure builds up. Good job here in giving themselves a chance to gain the upper hand. Throws him. What's next? Knockdown. Player one is almost dead, but some clutch drive moves and a few prayers could turn this around in their favor. Heading into the end game now. It's getting tense. KO. Player two takes the round like a thief in the night. What else can they get away with?
Round 2. Fight.
Three ball? Everything up until now, and everything from here on out is so vital. Player two did a great job of maintaining their drive gauge during that last round. It's going to be even more important in this next round to keep that up to help strengthen their ground game. Three ball ices them. The punish counter gives them a great opening here to do big damage. Player two needs to use the threat of the corner here. Amnesia! Max SA gauges. I'm pounding them with the Lavshuka. Can they stand the heat? Turning up the heat here with a level of nothing but air. A quick breather. Oh, yo! Oh, looking for the definitive end to this round with a level 3 super. Put them on a t-shirt with that finish.
You bastard!
Player two brings it home. Let's see if they can build themselves a streak. It's not over yet. Let's believe it's time for that one. Decides to buff up while they can. Absorbs the attack and fires back. Oh, with the drive impact. Player one is just about out of drive after that. Grabs him. All right. Finds the time to squeeze in a buff. So they break forward to pressure the opponent. Down to the wire. Picture perfect punish count. All right, what's coming up next? And that's a KO. Timed that perfectly. Player 2 picks up the always important first round. They'll want to keep the ball rolling.
Anthony! Our counters with amnesia. Nice lead.
On Kensaku. Player 2 creates a good corner opportunity.
Triggers the feng shui engine. The real good is coming out to play.
Player 1 is working with a better gauge. What can they do with it?
Amnesia.
This may be it. Gets out of the corner. Goes for the throw. Player 1 will need to play it conservative until their drive burns out.
Oh, they took the bait. No, just break them.
Both sides getting ready. Are we going to see a comeback?
Overhead attack closes it out.
Player 2 brings it home. Let's see if they can build themselves a streak.
Here comes a new challenger.
How's this match going to shake out? It's going to be exciting to see.
Nowhere to run.
Let me have some fun.
Round 1.
All right, first round. What's going to happen? Finds the time to squeeze in a buff. Throws him down. Was well in range to score the throw. Player 1 has used up all of their drive gauge. Knockdown. Player 1 in that dangerous burnout state. Oh, can they survive this badly timed burnout? Did well to get the buff in there. The Fuha stalked to the brim. Look for them to turn up the heat now. Will this super art connect? Perfect time to spend the meter. Takes a trip. Player 1 chases them down. KO. Player 1 picks up the first round. That'll give them a psychological advantage.
Round 2. Fight.
Immediate jumping. Parries the attack.
Kenton ring hits home.
Decides to buff up while they can.
Give me just goes for it at this range.
Player 1 needs to use what little drive they have left effectively. Drive gauge is almost empty. They gotta be careful. Player 1 will look to a super art.
Goes for the sunlight Fuazan. Vintage jury.
Dashes forward. Are they going to be able to come back and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat? What'll happen here? Are we gonna see a comeback here?
Slams on the brakes and shuts.
What a read with that anti-air! Player 1 brings it home. Let's see if they can build themselves a streak.
Round 1.
It's not over yet. Best believe it's time for that run back. Ooh, it looks like they're waiting to see what the opponent wants to do first. Still slugging it out here. Player 1 is just about out of drive after that. The drive gauge is completely empty, meaning their ability to block is also weak. Reads their mind and takes the throw. Reads the throw and shuts it down. That parry may be just the catalyst they need. Oops, they were anticipating that super art. Smart throws, that'll do more damage than usual. They're jostling for the dominant position in the corner. All right, what's coming up next? They gotta pull the trigger on their drive. Strap, they're going for the super art? A quick breather. They take some time to back off and regroup. A gutsy fireball gives them the round. Player 1 takes the round like a thief in the night. What else can they get away with?
Round 2. Fight.
Immediate jumping. Are we going to see some fire? Charges forward. I can't keep track of these corner switches. Gets out of the corner. Feeling out the spacing. Both fighters planning something? Gotta be careful not to whip at this range. Just a super art? Opt for the level 1 Vulcan Blast. Player 2 might have just shifted this. It's a good spot to use the super. Player 2 has the chance to win the round if they can put their drive to good use. Okay, here we go. Wall splat, hits it, closes it out. Player 1 brings it home. Let's see if they can build themselves a streak.
PlayStation